My number one tip is have fun. That's number one. If you go into the experience with fun as your goal, then you will enjoy yourself a lot more throughout the process and at the event. I just had my first anniversary as a relatively newlywed who just went on a trip for a first anniversary. I think marriage is great. This is one of the cool things about being married. I came back from a honeymoon and everyone's like, how's married life? And how could I say anything other than married life is awesome? You get to have a huge party, whether it's huge or small, whatever, it's a party. Everyone is saying nice things about you. They give you a bunch of presents. You go on a vacation, and when you come back from your vacation, all the presents are waiting for you. What's not to like? I think everyone should get married. It's a good question. We do so many different kinds of events all the time, and sometimes the events are not necessarily even events. There's like a film shoot or a TV shoot or a commercial shoot or whatever it may be, or it's a fundraiser. Maybe it's a corporate event, a bar mitzvah, a bat mitzvah, a birthday party, all these different kinds of things. Political events, we're nonpartisan, whatever we do for every different kind of party. All those things give you a different perspective as well. And what's interesting is that people who are planning a wedding say, I don't want to like a bar mitzvah. And people who are planning a bar mitzvah don't want to like a wedding. People who are planning a corporate event don't want to like either of those things. So there's like different sort of positions you take with each one, and there's different design suggestions we would have for each one, and there's different design suggestions you do for a bar mitzvah versus a bar mitzvah. A bar mitzvah versus a bat mitzvah, where you have a boy or a girl, depending on what kind of event it is. If we'll want to do some kind of a centerpiece on the table, but a bat mitzvah, the bat mitzvah girl or the mom or whoever's involved with the planning might want to do a nice effeminate floral centerpiece when a boy is going to be like, I want this to look masculine, but we need something in the center. And traditionally, people think of centerpieces as flowers, but we have lots of other suggestions for items that might be a little bit more masculine that can, make it feel cool without, making anyone uncomfortable. For a bar mitzvah, the coolest centerpiece that I can think of off the top of my head, I'll give you two. There was one where, for a bar mitzvah, where it was a rock and roll theme, and we had real guitars suspended above the table with guitar cables that went into a little mini guitar amp that actually worked, which was extremely cool. No one noticed that, which is good, because if they were going to play their guitars, it would be really hard to get up on the table to do that, but it was a working guitar amp, and then it also had floral elements as well, and it had some crystals of some kind, I forget. We've done it more than once, but the real guitar was a pretty cool thing. I believe that client auctioned off the guitars, didn't auction them off, donated them to charity afterwards. So that was pretty cool. We did another one where they gave them to the guests at the event. That was pretty cool too. We did another centerpiece for a bat mitzvah where the vase was an ice sculpture. And then, so it was tall enough where you can still see across the table, so a large ice sculpture, and then there was a large floral piece with branches going maybe another 3 feet in the air. So it was a super tall centerpiece, and each one was pin spotted throughout the room, so they were all glowing. So when you walk into that room, and it's like it was a winter theme, and the whole thing looked like it was magic. It was really cool. The themes come from experience, I would say. We've done so many events for so many years that we've been asked to do so many themes that we just have them at our fingertips, and we've acquired the props and we've acquired the inventory that will make those things feel authentic. So that's one thing. The other thing, it just goes into the the other side of the brain, where we'll have design meetings with our team, and we'll think about, what would be cool is if we could X, Y, or Z. And then, we'll brainstorm. We don't want to nix anything right away, like, that's not going to work, because we can think about a creative way to make that work, where it can be lightweight to truck from here to there, to store easily, keep it clean so it's not going to dent, that kind of thing. So I think those meetings are where a lot of it's like going to the drawing board and just kind of playing a little bit. And then we think about as well, the logistics. It's keeping like both those sides together. I think just the sheer quantity of props is one of the big assets that we have, and I will throw one other thing in there as well. Where we had a request for an event or a request for a rental of a zebra. We didn't have a zebra in our inventory at that moment in time, but we did have a few horses. So one of our designers said it wouldn't take too long to paint the horse into a zebra. So now we're minus one horse, but we gained a zebra in our inventory, and now we rent the zebra often, and that was for, I believe originally we did that for a TV and film event. I can't recall exactly what it was for. Also, these TV and film shoots will, sometimes turn into long-term rentals. If they, we've rented props for months, for a particular client. If they're doing shoots and reshoots and so on, and they don't know exactly when they need it, they just want to have it on hand. Depending on how big the budget is for the film. If it's a big studio picture, then usually they have a little bit more leeway. If it's an independent film or just a small commercial shoot, or even just a catalog photo shoot, they want to create an environment, whatever it is, and if we have the access to the inventory, then we've created dressing rooms for people out of pipe and drape in a remote location. We can be very flexible and handy for those kinds of people. Our corporate headquarters is located in Los Angeles, where we have our production studio, and we have a giant warehouse full of inventory and our staff, and that's where all the sort of the nuts and bolts is managed. We also have a location in Las Vegas with a warehouse as well, and we have a large amount of business in Las Vegas, which is I think, well, let me start that sentence again. We have a large amount of business in Las Vegas between conventions and trade shows, corporate events, of course weddings and bar mitzvahs and so on and so forth. It's the same as it is here, but there's more conventions probably in Las Vegas than there might be in Los Angeles, but there's plenty in LA too. But what's nice is that we have full inventories in both places, but there are times when we need to beef up one inventory or another. We're back and forth all the time, so if someone has a request, even if it's the very next day, we can have something in one place or another. But we have designers, florists, and the creative hands that can, and labor that can make everything happen in each place. We've done events all over the country, and we are asked to truck our inventory out, from Delaware to Orlando to San Francisco, and you name it. We've been everywhere, over Chicago, Tennessee. We've done events in all these places, and I think when we establish the relationships that we have, and with our unique inventory, it becomes a sort of like a team between the client and us as a multi-service vendor. So they know the quality that they're going to get, and they know that it's worth it to maybe pay for a little bit of a trucking fee. It's still only one truck, most likely, depending on the quantity of stuff. So you're still maybe saving a certain amount of money from having multiple trucks come to one event. But they know the level of service they're going to get, and they know that they might not be able to find an 8-foot champagne glass anywhere else, because we own that. And so, but that's just, of course, one little example. But we'll go everywhere, and whether we're bringing a refrigerated truck or we're bringing our designers to make the floral centerpieces in a place where we don't have an office. It happens regularly, and it's something that we're set up to do easily. Weddings are a lot of fun. I've always been a big fan of weddings. I think it's a unique event where people are coming with the intention of having a good time. Not every event works out to be that way. Certainly there's sad events, or there's other kinds of events where it's not the case. But with weddings, you have families coming together that are hopefully happy about that. You have people that want to meet people. Either they are reuniting with people that they haven't seen in a long time, or they're going with the intention of it's a good place to meet someone, some single people who it happens. And they're gonna be served some, for the guests, free food, and have some entertainment, have a glass of whatever, dance, eat, have a good time. For us, we're very sort of what's the word? We're set up well for a bride and a groom who are planning an event like this, because we provide in-house the majority of the needs, majority of the services that they would be in need of. And they can book as many or as few as they like, of course. That's an important message, because it's completely a la carte, and I always say it's like one piece of the puzzle or the whole puzzle. And so as much or as little, we do combinations of services where we'll do a band and chairs, or lighting and flowers, or linens and chargers. You know, all different things. Of course, we do events where it's, you know, soup to nuts. We do events where, you know, we go into an area that's a deserted area of the desert, literally, and nothing but sand. And then we'll, you know, have a tent with a generator, tables, chairs, linens, the whole thing, you know, staging, dance floor, and all of a sudden, you know, it's like paradise, like an oasis in the middle of nowhere, and then you come back 24 hours and it's sand again. And all they have are the memories and the good times and the video and hopefully pictures, that kind of thing. So anyway, for me, you know, weddings are a fun occasion. It's a unique kind of event to plan because, you know, I think for most people, it's their first big event that they're planning, you know, and they don't plan on planning that many events in their lives. And this is an emotional time for them. There's always complications one way or another, whether something doesn't go completely according to plan with their family, or maybe they're getting pressure from one way or another, or they, you know, don't necessarily agree on the aesthetics of what they want or what it might be. But our goal is to try and, you know, make those things be as pleasant as possible.